Hello, grade 3 boys and girls. Welcome back to another lesson with me on Prime Math Zoom. I am Miss Shanika. Today, we are going to practice some more grade 3 diagnostic test math items. Please go right ahead and type hello in the chat so that I know who are the persons here with me. So far, I see K Black saying hi. Hello, K Black. Hello to Odette. Hello to Niquane. Hello to Natasha. Welcome. Good evening. Hello, Shaniel. Please take this time to share this link with your friend or friends or classmates or students or children so that they don't miss out on this live grade 3 math practice. We're going to start in just 1 minute. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so that you are alerted, you're notified whenever we come live. Welcome everyone. I hope that you had a good day at school today. Another thing, I want everyone to have your pencil and notebook ready because we are going to be doing some math solving. We're going to do this live, sharing your explanations in the chat. So just go right ahead and be prepared. Okay. I like that there's some persons here who are very much prepared because it's not your first time learning with Miss Shanika on Prime Math Zoom. All right. Okay, so we are going to go into our 5 rapid response questions. So we can start getting our brain juices flowing. Before I get into that, can you go right ahead and tell me which school you are joining me from? I like to know the school that you attend, so I can think which schools are here being benefited. We will be practicing 20 questions this evening, like other evenings. Welcome to Bronzall Primary. Clonmel Primary. Okay, welcome. I don't think I know this school. Welcome to Wakefield, Nazareth Primary, St. John's Primary. Welcome to Agley Park with K. Welcome to James Hill Primary. Welcome. All right. Our rapid response questions. The first one, what is 12 plus 8? First one in the chat. Welcome to JVB Academy, Mile Gully Primary, Monsignor Prep. Hastings Infant, James Hill Primary, welcome. First correct answer from K Block, 20. 12 plus 8 is 20. Good job, Odette. Good job, Sophia. K Dandre, good job. And Sidane, Niquane, Karen, good job. Next question, what is 12 minus 4? What is 12 minus 4? First correct answer in the chat, K Black, Shamika, well done. Odette, Sophia, Zari, Niquane. All right, yes, 12 minus 4 is equal to 8. What is 6 times 9? Thank you, Tamiko. What is 6 times 9? Welcome, Port Henderson in the house. 6 times 9. All right, Odette. Okay, first one, Odette, very nice. Karen, Shalise, Ken, is Roy, welcome. All right, Shamika, good job to those guys who said 54. Zari, Tamika, Nikwain, awesome work. 6 times 9 is equal to 54. What number comes before 49? What number comes before 49? What number comes before 49? Check your answer, Shamika. Good job, Zidane, Nikwain, Zari, Sophia, Tamika, Shalise, K Block, Brandy, Zidane. The number that comes before 49 is 48. Last one. Is 7 an even or odd number? Is 7 even or odd? Thank you, Shamika, Zidane, Tamika, Nikwain, Odette, Zari, Janet. Okay, K Block. All right, Sophia, Chanel. Thank you, Shelia. It is an odd number. Good job. Now I see that our brain juices are flowing. Let us go to the first question. The first question says, which represents 7 thousandths plus 100 plus 8 tenths plus 4 ones? Put the answer in the chat. Put the answer in the chat. All right. Which number represents that? Shamika says 7184. Okay. K Black is saying the same thing. So is Zari and Shalise. All right. Yes, that is 7,184. Let's just go through that. 7,000. So we have the thousands place. We have the hundreds place, the tens place, the ones place. So if we put 7 in the thousands place, 1 in the hundreds place, 8 in the tens place, and 4 in the ones place, we will indeed come up with 7,184. Our correct answer is the B, 7,184. Good job, guys. Let's go to the second question, question 2. Nikwain shows us how to work this in the chat. He said 7,000 plus 100 plus 80 plus 4 is equal to 7,184. Way to go, Nikwain. Good job. The next question says 3 groups of 2 are the same as, is it A, 3 times 2, B, 3 plus 2, or C, 3 minus 2? Write your answer in the chat. 3 groups of 2 is the same as what? K Black said 3 times 2. Sophia says 3 times 2. Shelia said 3 times 2. So does Shalise. Guys, I want to see your answer, not the letter in the chat. Cassandra said 3 times 2. Odette says the same thing. Shari, Nikwain, awesome work. Dane Gaming, June Plum. All right. So 3 groups of 2 is the same as 3 times 2. All right. So if you said 3 times 2, good job. You are correct. 3 groups of 2. That's how we write it. We multiply. 3 groups of 2, it's like you have 3 groups. 1, 2, 3 groups. And in each you have 2 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're multiplying 3 times the 2 that is in each group. For the person who said 3 plus 2, Kid Andre, 3 plus 2 would not give you this. 3 plus 2 would have a group of 3 and a group of 2, and that would mean a different thing, okay? Number 3. Which number has the least value? Which number has the least value? And how do you know? So I want to see your answers in the chat, and I also want to see an explanation for your answer. All right. Shamika says 347, but why do you say that? Tamika says the same thing. So does Zaria, Odette, Sophia, Shalise, but why? So the next thing I'll be reading is an explanation as to why you think that is the correct answer. Niquen says 347 because it has the smallest number of them all. But how do we prove this, that it has the smallest number of them all? How did you come up with that, Niquen? Shamika said it said least, and 3 is less than 7 and 4. But why are we comparing 3, 7, and 4? All the numbers have these digits in it. All right, let me see. Okay. All right, Zidane says 347 because 3 is in the lowest hundreds. That's the kind of explanation I am looking for. When we are comparing 3 numbers, we are going to look at the largest place value first. So here we're looking at 7, we're looking at 3, we're looking at 4. They're all in the hundreds place. And then we will compare which of these digits is larger than the other. And 3 is smaller than 4, as well as 3 is smaller than 7. So 3 in the hundreds place shows that the smallest number, the number with the least value, would be 347. Zuri says you need 3 less than 4 to say 3 less than 4 and 4 less than 7, and 3 is the lowest. Zari says 347 because it is the smallest number, because if you take away by 347, 374 gives you 0. I'm not really understanding this explanation. All right, let me see some other explanations here. Casey says because 3 is smaller than 7 and 4, 300 is less than 700 and 400. Thank you for that little addition, Casey. Good job, guys. So yes, B is your correct answer, 347. Let's go to our next question. Which number represents the numerator in the fraction 2/7? What is the numerator? You can tell me, what is the numerator? What's a numerator? What's the meaning of numerator? What's that? What is a numerator? If I'm to ask you, what does numerator mean? What would you tell me? Zura says it's a top number. What would you tell me for me to understand what a numerator is? Let me see some meanings for numerator in the chat from your own words. Zaria says a numerator is a top number. Kylian says top number. Top number of what? Top number where? Niquane says a top number is a numerator. All right. Okay. So Shali says the number of shaded parts. All right. Odette says numerator can be improper. Okay. The whole fraction could be improper. Tamika says how many fractions or cuts in the whole. Cassandra says the numerator is a number that describes the amount of them. Okay, he says 2 is the top number of this fraction. Cassandra says a numerator is the number that describes the amount of items. All right. Anna Miller says it represents the number at the top of a fraction. All right. All right, let me see other definitions here. June Plum said the top of the denominator. Zuri says the number that shows how many to take out. Sarah says numerator is a bottom. Okay, K Black says a numerator is how much is shaded. Odette says numerator can be okay. I think I read some of these already. Shamika says a numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom. All right. Now, many of you were correct in what you had said. The numerator is the top number in a fraction. So the top number in a fraction, any fraction, is the numerator. The bottom number is the denominator. Some person says the amount of numbers that are shaded. If it asks how many are shaded out of the whole, then the top number would represent that. But what if the question asks, what is the how can you represent using a fraction the unshaded parts? That's also something we can think about. All right. So yes, the numerator has to do with the amount of equal parts being considered of a whole. All right. So think about it like this: the amount of equal parts that are being considered of a whole. All right. So for this question, which one is the numerator? Is it the 2 or is it the 7? Which one is the numerator? Nikisha is saying 2. Chanel saying 2. And I saw many persons before also said 2. Zuri, Janet said 2. All right. Okay, Zari, Rain, Henry saying 2. All right, good job. Clover Hay saying 2. Colette is saying 2. All right, Chanel, good job. Yes, 2 is the numerator because, of course, as you can see, it is the number represented at the top of the fraction. Good job. Let's go to our next question. Which is an odd number? Which is an odd number? Before you tell me which one is the odd number, can you tell me what an odd number is in the chat? One of our rapid response questions asks that. But can you tell me what is an odd number? How, if someone comes and said, what do you call an odd number? What would you tell them? So I'm looking for a definition for an odd number in the chat. The meaning of an odd number. Shamika, thank you. Shamika says an odd number is a number that cannot be divided without leaving a remainder. Divided by what? Because that is important. Shalise says, where is that one? Shalise says counting by 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. All right, Jordan says 15 is an odd number because it leaves a remainder when divided by 2. An odd number, K Black says an odd number is something that is not equal. Fallon Lewin says an odd number is when the number leave a remainder. Zara says an odd number is a number that have 1, 3, 5. Tamika says because an even number is a multiple of 2. Okay. Lejean says a number that cannot be divided by 2 without leaving a remainder. And I'll stop at that. Yes, an odd number is a number that if you divide it by 2, it leaves a remainder. That is what an odd number is. All right. Now here we have the number 14. We have 15. We have 16. How do we know which one is the odd number? Another thing is with odd numbers, like Kayleon and many people are saying, it has 1 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 in the ones place. If a number has any of these digits in the ones place, it's an odd number. Let's look in the odd ones place here. We have 4. We have 5. We have 6. 4 is not a part of this. That means the number is an even number. 5 is a part of this. So it means, therefore, that B, 15, is an odd number. And if we are to look at C, 6 is not a part of this. That means 16 is an even number. So I can see Sarah, Shanil, Jermalia, Zuri. I can see many of you saying that the answer, Natasha, saying it's 15, and you are correct. Teresa, Casey, all right. Good job, guys. All right. Melissa, Daria, Zidane, also saying Odette, the answer is 15. All right. It's okay, Zuri. Let's go to our next question. Good job, guys. Here is a part of a number line. We have 2 and 2/4 here. We have an unknown here. We have 3 here. We have 3 and 1/4 here. The question says, what is the missing number? What is the missing number? Who can tell me what the missing number is? And how do you know? All right. So tell me what the missing number is and how do you know? So here we have the missing number. Which number should go here? Tamika says 3/4. Well, let's take a look at the options, guys. The options, we have A, 2 and 1/4, B, 2 and a half, C, 2 and 3/4. So let me see. Niquen says C, 2 is the whole number and 3/4. Okay. Shalise is saying 2 and 3/4, just like Jordan and Melissa. But how did you get this? How did you come up with this answer? Why are people saying 2 and 2/3? Why are people saying 2 and 3/4? Why are people saying 2 and 1/4? Tell us how you came up with your answer. I want to see an explanation in the chat. All right. Let me see some explanations here in the chat. For those who are just joining, welcome. Hope you have your pencil and your book ready to do some math solving. All right, so I'm not seeing any explanation for this one. I'll go right ahead and start doing some explanation here. Now, as you can see, we have 2 wholes and 2/4. That's one of the fractions we have. Here we have 3 wholes and 1/4. You notice that we are counting by what? We're counting by what here? We're going up by what? We're going up by 1, we're going up by half, we're going up by a quarter, we're going up by a third. What do you think we're going up by? When the numbers are going up, what do you think they're adding each time? What do you think they're adding each time? You think they're going up by 1? So if we have 2 and 2/4, it means that this must be 3 and 2/4. If they're adding 1. I don't think they're adding 1. And let me tell you why. Now, 2 is 2 wholes, 1 plus 1. But from another whole, that this whole would have been 4/4, that would be a whole. But here, it's only 2/4 they have here. I am thinking that this one, I would put 3 here. And now I would say it's 3/4. Not 3 there. My mistake. Let me erase that. I would put 2 here. Because it's already 2 wholes, I would put 2 here. But now I would say this would now be 3/4. That's what I will think. And then if I continue, I will have 2 here. And this 3 will now be 4/4. But 4/4 is equal to 4/4 is equal to what? 4/4 is equal to 1. So if I already have 2 wholes and then 4/4 is 1, it means therefore that this part would be 3, which is already there. Let me just erase this top part so you can see that it was already there to be 3. So the next one now, since we're going up by quarters each time, we would now have a whole of 3 and 1/4. And therefore here would be 3 and 2/4. And the next part would be 3 and 3/4. And the next part would be 3 and 4/4. But this would now instead be 3 plus 1, which gives us a whole of 4. All right. So I hope we're understanding this explanation I'm giving here. Therefore, the missing number has to be 2 and 3/4 because they're going up by a quarter each time. All right. Let me see if you understand in the chat. Give me a thumbs up so I know that you understand. Good job. Thank you, June Plum. All right. All right, let's now go to the next question. Next question says, the rectangle is divided into what? Look at the rectangle. What is it divided into? And how do you know? Thank you, Zarian Queen Coletta. So tell me, the rectangle is divided into what? And why do you say that? Why do you say that is the answer? All right, so Odette says fifths. Tamika says fifths. Why do you say it's fifths? Shamika says eighths. Tamika says eighths. Why do you say it's eighths? Casey's saying fifths. Why do you say fifths? Zidane says A, because there are 4 things on the top and 4 things on the bottom. So 4 equal parts Zidane on the top and 4 equal parts at the bottom. Okay, so what does that say to us? Oh, that says by counting the square that is shaded. Shari says 8 eighths because, let me find this back, 8 eighths because you need to count off everything. Jordan says fifths because there are 5 shaded squares at the top. Shamika says 8 because it's 8 parts. Yes. Now the rectangle is divided into, it didn't ask you how many are shaded. It asks how many parts. It says it's divided into. It's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts. If a fraction or if a whole is divided into 8 equal parts, we call each part an eighth. So it's divided into eighths. For example, if we had this rectangle and it's divided like this, even if I shade this of it, and even if I shade this of it, as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. And so for this diagram, it's divided into fourths. All right. So for those who said that this rectangle is divided into eighths, you are correct. All right. Thank you, guys. Good job. Let's go to our next question. Which multiplication fact does the diagram represent? Which multiplication fact does the diagram represent? So here you can see the diagram. Put your answer in the chat. And an explanation as well. Let me see what you guys are thinking. I can see Shamika and Ezra is saying 3 times 4. Why do you say 3 times 4? Jordan and Zaria are saying the same thing. But why do you say that? Odette says 12 times 1. Lejeune says 3 times 4. Janet says 3 times 4. Chanel says 6 times 2. Tell us why. Shamika says 3 times 4 equals 3 groups of 4. Zuri is saying the same thing. Jordan is saying there are 4 apples in 3 boxes. Zidane says 3 times because there are, let me find this. Oh, I think it was retracted. All right. Samantha says 3 squares, 4 apples in each square. June Plum says 3 times 4 because there is 3 squares and 4 things in the 3 boxes. All right. Now, I'll go with that. We have how many groups? We have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. And how many are in each group? 3 groups of, remember the multiplication sign can be used as of. 3 groups of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 groups of 4 is the same as 3 times 4. So the correct answer is 3 times 4. Zidane says 3 times 4 because there are 3 groups and each of them have 4 in it. Precisely so. Good job. Let's move on to our next question. Which mathematical sentence is true? Let's take a look at them. Look at what A is saying, B is saying, C is saying, and tell me which one is true and why. So let's go and put some explanations in the chat. Let us see what you choose and why. Okay. I'm seeing B in the chat, A in the chat, but what does that mean? All right. All right. So K Black says B because 18 minus 5 is 13. She's saying 18 minus 5 is 13. And let me go back. And 16 is bigger than 13. That's what K Black says. Pauline says B because the hand is less than, but that doesn't tell me exactly why. Jordan says 18 minus 5 is 13, so therefore 18 minus 5 is less than 16. All right, lovely explanation as well, Jordan. Hello, William. Odette says because 18 minus 5 equals to 16. All right. Okay, so people are saying B. I want to work from A straight down to C to see what is happening. 18 minus 5 is 13. That means A is the same as 13 is greater than 16. And is that statement true or false? This has to be false because 13 is not greater than 16. So our answer cannot be A. Let's check out B. B says 18, take away 5, and that is 13. And the sign is less than. 13 is less than 16. Is that statement true or false? All right. So this statement is true because 13 is less than 16. But let's also check C. 18 minus 5 is 13. The sign is equal, then 16, but 13 is not equal to 16. So our correct answer for this one is B. Good job. Awesome work, guys. Awesome work. Let's move on to our next question. Good job, guys. I can see your answers in the chat. But I already knew that you people are smarty pants. Next question says, which number is a mixed number? But what is a mixed number? If I'm to ask you to give me the meaning of mixed number, what would you tell me? If I say, I don't know what a mixed number is, but you know, what would you tell me? So let me see some explanations here for what a mixed number is. Maybe we can identify a mixed number, but can you tell me what is a mixed number? Okay. William says a whole number and a proper fraction. Wow, that is so specific. Very good. Yes, a mixed number is a whole number and a proper fraction. Norman is saying a whole number with a fraction. Good. So that is what a mixed number is. For example, a whole number like 2 and a proper fraction like 2/3. That would be a mixed number. So let us look at A. Let's look at B. Let's look at C. Which one is the mixed number? Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Anna. Good job. All right. So A shows a half, and the half is a what? Who can tell me what kind of fraction A is showing? A is showing what kind of a fraction? A is showing a what? What kind of fraction is this? A half. What kind of fraction is that? What kind of fraction is a half? Thank you, Jordan. It's a proper fraction. Thank you, Shamika. It's a proper fraction. And let's look at B. What kind of fraction is that B? Thank you, Casey. What kind of fraction is that B here? What is it showing? B is showing what? Is the proper fraction like A? What is this fraction at B? It's a mixed number. It's a mixed number. So we don't say mixed fraction. We say mixed number. Very good. Very good, Shamika. All right. Very good, Sarah. Very good, William. Very good, Zaria. Kalion. Very good. Now, it asks for a mixed number. So, of course, 3 and 1/4 is a mixed number. But who can tell me what is this fraction at C called? Thank you, Nigel. What's the fraction at C called? The fraction at C is called an improper fraction. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Tamika. June Plum. Very good. Thank you, William. It's an improper fraction. But why is it called an improper fraction? Can you tell me in the chat? Why is this one, C, an improper fraction? Improper fraction. Why is it called that? Why do we call it an improper fraction? Let me see who can share their response with me here in the chat. Why is it called an improper fraction? Because 8 is bigger than 5. Zohara says that. Odelia says the top number is bigger. Shamika says the denominator is bigger than the numerator. Not quite. Tamika says the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Shalise says because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. All right. Samantha says top number larger than bottom number. Odette says numerator is bigger than denominator. Nigel says the number is bigger than the denominator. William says numerator is bigger than the denominator. Carleon says numerator has a higher value. All right, thank you guys. Yes, the denominator is smaller than the numerator, or we can say that the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So we call it an improper fraction. Now we're basically halfway through today's session, and I want to ask you a question. If you could have any superpower, which one would you choose? Let me know in the chat. If you could have any superpower, which one would you choose? For me, I would choose teleportation. Let me hear from you. Which one would you choose? All right, Jordan says to be smart. June Plum says laser eyes. Shelly says super strength. All right. Alex says speed. Zari says freeze time. Tamika says intelligence. Let me see other. I see Spider-Man. Is it a superpower? Which superpower would you like of Spider-Man, Dion? Oh, wow. K-Black says to be the kindest in the world. All right. I see the Mario says Flash, but which of his superpower? All right. Okay, so maybe that is the superpower. Daquan says to be a genius at math. Odila says flying. Okay, Zaria says fires. Jumplum says laser eyes and intelligence. Katen says all superpower. Guys, you have to type your superpower in the chat. I'll be reading it. Tamika says telekinesis. Okay. Time stopper. Who's a time stopper? Pauline. All right. Casey to read minds. Okay, Shireen says fly. Dion says freestyle. All right. Okay, I'm seeing many of you saying here. Someone says webs. All right. Niquen says to outshine anyone and become a lawyer. Okay. Zohara says intelligence. I don't understand this response as I grow. Flying, freeze time, okay. Telekinesis, time stopper, super fast. All right. These are some lovely superpowers I'm seeing here. All right. Okay. So someone is saying that Flash only superpower is super speed. All right. Okay, all right. Good job, guys. This was very nice. Very nice discussion. Let's now go to, all right. Okay, Samantha says to read minds. And Marie says to have a good education. William says teleportation. Tasha says working hard. Shari says to be smart. All right. Pauline says she would want every superpower. All right, guys. Let's now go to the next question. Now, this shows the amount of toys that someone has in a box. They have cars, they have some trucks, they have some bikes. Now, how many cars were in the box? How many cars were in the box? June Plum says 12. Jordan says 12. Tamika says 12. Shamika says 12. K Black, Kasian, Chanel, Zaria. Casey says 12. Ajani says 12. Tasha, Casey, and Zidane. Okay. All right. Yes, you are right. Because remember, we have looked at tally marks. We already have the numbers here for trucks, 16, for bikes, but the question asked about cars. So we can count by saying what? 5, 10, because each of these, like this, is 5, 11, 12. So if your answer is 12, you are correct. Good job. All right, let's go to the next question. Mr. Brown wrote the number 169 on the board and asked Ben to circle the digit with the highest value. Which digit should he circle? So Mr. Brown wrote 169 on the board. Which digit has the highest value and why? Tell me which one has the highest value. Okay, persons are saying 1, some are saying 9. Okay, let's look at the number now. Some people are saying 1, some people are saying 9. Why do you say 1 has the highest value? Why do you say 9 has the highest value? Let me see. Well, William says because it's the biggest, but it asks about the value. June Plum says because 9 is the greatest value because 9 is the greatest value in 169. But why? Norman says 1 because it's in the 100 position. Damario says 1 is 100. All right. Pauline says 1 because it's in the 100 position. All right. Now, it didn't ask you for the biggest number. It asked you for the digit with the highest value. Think about it like that. The digit with the highest value, like what Kalion is explaining. Yes. Now, if you look at 1, what's the value of 1 in this number? Value of 1 in this number would be what? Who can tell me? What's the value of 1? Thank you, Omali. Okay, so the value of 1, thank you, Stephanie. Zaria, thank you. The value of 1 would be 100. What's the value of the 6 in this number? What's the value of the 6 in this number, 169? The value of the 6 is, thank you, Norman, will be 60. What's the value of the 9 in this number? The value of the 9 in the number 169 would be what? Would just be 9. Thank you, William. Will just be 9. So if you look at the values, 169, which one has the greatest, the highest value? And guys, when you get questions, don't just assume the question is asking this. Read it slowly and answer. That's how we make simple mistakes. All right, so read your question slowly. Take your time to answer so you can avoid simple mistakes. So 1 has the greatest value because 1 means 100. So A is the correct answer. The answer is 1. Cannot be 9 because this is 9 ones. So that cannot have the greatest value. All right, so let's go to the next question. Subtract 46, take away 14. 46 minus 14. What would you get? What's your answer? What's your answer for this? William says 32B. K Black says 32. Shamika says 32. Jordan says 32. Nigel, Niqueen, Queen, Zohara. All right. Say 32. Okay. Let me work this out so I can also be sure. 4 ones from 6 ones will give us. That will be 2 ones. 1 10 from 4 tens will give us. That will give us 3 tens. Therefore, 46 take away 14 is equal to B 32. Good job, guys. Good job. Awesome. Let's go to the next question. Divide 486 by 2. Divide 486 by 2. Now, this is easy because, as you note, all the digits in this is divisible by 2. 2 can go in without leaving a remainder. So this would be a quick and easy one for you. Shamika says 243. Comeback says 123. June Plum says 243. Niger says 243. So does Jordan. So does June Plum. So does Comeback and Demario, Zari, Niqueen, Tamika. William says 123. June Plum, Tamika, Casey says 243. All right. Now, let's go through this one. I also saw someone says 446. So let's go through this one to see which one of you were correct. Now, here we have the divisor 2, and the first digit we'll test out with is 4. 4 divided by 2 goes how many times? How many groups of 2 can you get out of 4? You have 4 things. How many groups of 2 can you make? All right, we can have 2 groups. Thank you. Thank you, William. Thank you, Shamika. Then we go to the next digit. We had no remainder. So we have 8 things. How many groups of 2 can we get out of 8? 8 divided by 2. What would that be? Thank you, Tasha. That would be 4. And there is no remainder. We have 6. 6 divided by 2 would be what? Let me see. 6. Thank you, Kadian. That would be 3. So our answer is 243. Good job to those whose answer was 243. Well done. For those who did not get it correct, you can look here and see how we worked it out simply using short division. Good work, guys. Let's go to our next question. Consider the total value of money shown below. Use it to answer question 28. Here we have, what coin is this? What coin is this one? Who knows this coin? How much money is this one? This one here I'm touching. How much money would this coin be? What's the value of this coin? Zari says $5. This one is $5. $5 coin. What about this one? What about this coin? And what about this coin? These ones are what coins? What is this? What are these coins called? These are $20 coins. All right, so this here is a $20. This other one is a $20 coin. They're the same things. And what about the next coin? This one. Who knows what the other coin is called? This coin here with the curly edges. What's this one called? $10. Very good. Thank you, William. So $10. I'll put $10 here. A $10 coin. $10 coin. Yes. All right. Now, the question says, which combination of the coins represent the same value as the total amount of money above? Which combination? And we have A, we have B, we have C. Now, first, we need to know what is the value of the money we have above. So who can tell me the value of all of these coins together? All of these coins is equal to how much money? Let's go. Let me see. Tamika, check your answer. Oh, yes. Check your answer. Make sure you put your units on it. Jordan says $55. Also, Niger says $55. June Plum says $55. Zahara says $55. Niquane says $55. Guys, you can't just put the number and not the dollar sign. Mariette says $55. Tasha says $55. So does Casey and Zari. Samantha, we put the dollar sign before we put the number. $55. Same for you, Omali. The dollar sign goes in front. Zidane, $55. William says $55. Pauline says $55. Good job, guys. Samantha, Shalice, very nice. Alicia, all right, good job. So we have $5. So it's basically $5 plus $20 plus $20 plus $10. And that is equal to $55. Now we need to look at the question. Which combination down here represent the same value? Which of these combinations will also give you $55? That is what we're asking here. A, three $10 would be equal to what? Three $10 will be equal to $30. 3 times 10, right? And one $5 would be equal to what? Come on, help me out in the chat here. One $5 would be equal to what? It would be equal to $5. And five $1 would be equal to what? What would five $1 be equal to? Five $1 will also be equal to $5. So 30 plus 5 is what? 30 plus 5 is $35 plus 5 is $40. That means A cannot be correct. Let's check out B. One $20 is equal to what? Help me out again in the chat, guys. Thank you for helping me with the first one. Help me out again here. $120 would be equal to what? Just $20. Thank you. Three $10 would be equal to what? Three $10 would be equal to what? Thank you, guys. Three $10 would be equal to $30. Very nice. Five $1 would be equal to what? Thank you. Five $1 would be equal to what? Will be equal to $5. Now let's add these. 20 plus 30 is what? $20 plus $30 is what? $20 plus $30 is $50. Thank you. And $5 more. $50 plus $5 would be $55. That looks like it has the same value as the combination we have above. But let us look at C. C says two $20. Two $20 is equal to what? What is two $20 equal to? Let me see in the chat. Two $20. Who can come up with this response first? Two $20 is equal to what? I'm only seeing numbers here. I'm not seeing dollar sign. Tashara says $40 is equal to $40. Two $10 is equal to what? Let me see the first one in the chat. Two $10 is equal to what? Two $10, thank you, Zidane, is equal to $20. Three $5. What is three $5 equal to? Three $5 is equal to what? Thank you, Tashara. $15. Thank you, guys. Thank you for helping me out in the chat. So $40 plus $20 is equal to? Is equal to $60 plus $15 more is equal to? Is equal to $75. Very good. So as you can see, B has the same combination as the coins above. If you said B, one $20 plus three $10 plus five $1, you are correct. Good job. So proud of your efforts so far. Way to go, boys and girls. Now here, next question says 7 plus box is equal 11. What does box represent? Is it an addend? Is it the product? Is it the sum? Put your answer in the chat. What would the box represent? Thank you, William. An addend. K Black says the sum. Shamika says an addend. Thank you. June Plum says the sum. Samantha says addend. Odette says addend. Tamika says addend. Now, remember the sum is the answer you get when you add two numbers. So 11 is already the sum. Now, the numbers you add are called addends. So if you said an addend, then you are correct. Good job. And the product is the answer you get when you multiply. So that could not have been correct either. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. The next question says we're to consider the number line below. Which of the following is the number sentence represented on the number line? Which one? Write that number sentence that is being represented. Thank you, Sophia. Write this numbers, the correct number sentence for this number line. Is it 64 plus 36 equals 100? 64 plus 70 equals 100? 64 plus 30 equals 100? Look at the number line and tell me what number sentence is being represented. Tabika says 64 plus 36 equals 100. William says 64 plus 36 equals 100. Let me see what others are saying. Alicia saying 64 plus 70 equal 100. Shelly says 64 plus 36 equal 100. All right. K Black says 64 plus 36 equal 100. Nick Wayne is saying the same thing. Now let's look at the number line. The starting point is right here at 64. And we add some numbers and we end up at 100. Let's see what numbers we added. We added 6 and then we added 30. So 6 and 30 would be 36. This is the number we added. We could have taken a big jump here. So we added 36 to 64 and we got to 100. So the correct answer is indeed A. 64 plus 36 equals to 100. Thank you guys. Good job. If you are doing well so far, you're understanding so far, please give me a thumbs up in the chat so I know that you're following and all is going well. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up there so I know that we are all following. Thank you, June Plum. I can see you're following. Zaria. Very nice. Shalise. Thank you. I'm sorry to hear Daquan. All right. Good job, guys. Thank you for those thumbs up. All right. Thank you, William. Sahara. Thank you. Let's go to the next question. What is 278 rounded to the nearest 10? Is the answer 270, 280, or 300? What is 278 rounded to the nearest 10? Okay. I see Casey says 280. Zahara says 280. Tashara, June Plum, Alicia saying 280. I'm seeing Shalise saying 280. Zahara saying 280. Dion, William, Shamika, Niquain, Alicia saying 280. Casey. Now, when we are rounding numbers, we first have to consider which place we're rounding to. It says the 10. We have 278, and we're rounding it to the nearest 10. The number in the tens position is the 7. How do we know if this should remain the same or we should go up by 1? We have to look at the neighbor to the right. If the neighbor to the right is 5 or more, we add 1. And if the neighbor to the right is less than 5, we have this digit in the tens place remain the same. So since the neighbor is 8, it means that we're going to add 1. Let me write that properly. We're going to add 1 to the digit in the tens position. So we'll add 1 plus the 7 to make that 8. So now we have 280. We have to now use a 0 in the ones place like a placeholder because we are rounding. Okay, so if you said the correct answer is B, 280, you are correct. Good job. Let's go to the next question. The diagram is represented, what diagram is represented by this diagram below? What number is represented by the diagram below? So let's take a look. Look at the key. The key tells us that this means 1 and this means 10. So go ahead and tell me which number is this representing? All right. Okay. I'm seeing Alicia saying 103. June Plum saying 130. Tamika saying 103. Alisa saying 103. Jessica saying 103. Shalise Zari. All right. All right. I'm seeing June Plum saying 130. I'm seeing William saying 103. Tashara saying 103. Odette, Rosemary, Zahara as well, saying 103. Did you know I have a Zahara here and also a Zahara? I also have a Zuri and a Zari in the chat. All right, guys. So let's look. Remember, this represents 10. So we're going to count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we have 100 plus, this one represents 1, 1, 2, 3. So 100 plus 3, that will be equal to 103. So if your answer is C, 103, you are correct. Good job, guys. Good work. I see that you guys are doing a lot of practicing, whether just with me or at home or with your teacher at school, but you guys are doing very well. And I believe once you take time to read and understand all the problems, when you get a question in this test, once you read and understand it, and you put what you have been practicing into, right there on paper, then you would do well. One thing I want to encourage is that take your time to read the questions. Don't just read it quickly or not read it and see some numbers and think you know the answer. No, take your time. Next question says, Sasha is saving to buy a game that costs $640. I like to put a line under the important information as I read. So $640. She saves $100 every week. How many weeks will it take her to save enough money to buy the game? How many weeks? So she needs, how much does she need? She needs $640. And if she's going to save $100 every week, how many weeks does she need to save for to be able to afford this game? All right. I'm seeing many persons saying 7, many persons saying 6 in the chat. All right. Kay says 6 weeks. Shamika says 6 weeks. How do we know? Amali says 6 weeks. How do we know? Shelly says 6 weeks. Why do you say 6 weeks? The ones who say 7 weeks, why do you say 7 weeks? Let me see some explanation in the chat. Why did you say 6 weeks or why did you say 7 weeks? All right. William says 7 because 6 weeks would be $600. So 7 for the $40 extra. Okay. All right. I understand. All right. O'Malley says because she says $100 every week. Zuri says 7 weeks because she's going to need $40 more. All right. Thank you for those explanations. Definitely. Week 1, she would save $100. Week 2, $200. Week 3, $300. Week 4, $400. Week 5, $500. Week 6, $600. As you mentioned, so she saved for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and she has only $600, but she also needs that $40. So she has to save another week. So week 7, when she save another $100, she can take that $40 from it. When she takes that $40 from it, she would be able to pay for that game that costs $640. So your correct answer would be 7. Good work, guys. Kasian says, because if you have to count by hundreds until it reaches 600 and then you look at the fingers you put up. Okay. All right. Okay, Shelly says because it is $640, so it's 6 weeks. All right, nice. Let's now go to the end of this session. Now, today was a lovely day. I enjoyed your interactions in the chat. I love the way many of you put out some effort to explain your answers. That is very, very, very commendable. I want to encourage you to keep practicing more questions and new questions at home, even at school with your teacher. I also have a grade 3 diagnostic test playlist on my channel. You can always go back and do more practice of those same items until you are perfect at them. All right. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Enjoy your evening and take care. Love you guys too. Bye-bye.